research problem, so that you will be an authority on that. You will be having the inclination towards that. You will be having the fraternal feeling that that is your area. You want to become a master over it. So you should taste your fruit, not asking someone to give the fruit. So the selection of the research problem is very important. Baba Sahib in the dissertation he selected Ancient Indian Commerce. Then in the Columbia University, as a student, what he did? He took a social burning problem of this nation and as a researcher, he proved to the world, this is the society that I come. What is that paper? Name of the paper? Caste India's Mechanism, Genesis and Mechanism. How many of you have read that? And I don't think there are genuine research scholars. I'm sorry to say.
Yes.
At least one. Why I am asking you to read that? As a student of MSc, how he wrote that paper? And that paper was presented in the seminar.
Yes.
And you know the name of the seminar? Golden Weiser, an eminent anthropologist. In his name, the seminar was held in Columbia. And as a student, Baba Sahib showed through his paper, Caste in India, the mechanism, genesis, and development. As a research scholar, he showed to the world, see, this is my social paper. How many of you have presented your papers? Where? What?
The Nanabar.
Hmm.
So that's under Prof and asking.
Dhanabharti, what, under what title you presented? What was the nature of the seminar?
Dr. Ambedkar views on separate statehood movement in India.
Separate?
Statehood movement in India.
Separate statehood. What do you mean by that?
They are creating some more states and various big states. They are told like that. I am working my research.
It's not a separate statehood.
Not like that, sir.
Yeah.
They are said
It's a federal scheme.
yes, sir.
Where Baba Sahib has written, I'm sure you. What he has written?
Sir,
What he has written on the states?
they are creating some more.
What formula we have adopted under
Language
State Reorganization Act?
linguistic
Yes.
based.
Linguistic based. And then as well as
What was his formula?
they are population based.
River
No,
based.
he avoided a formula.
River based.
Huh?
River based.
River.
River based.
We have adopted a formula, one language, one state. Baba Sahib reverses it. One state, one language. You have to understand
Yes,
this,
yes.
the catastrophe of this, you have to understand. I'm glad that he has presented, he has taken a very important area. We have adopted one language, one state. If the people are talking Kannada, they should live in Kannada. If Telugu, Andhra Pradesh. But now we have Telangana. This he has visualized. Baba Sahib is visualized. So a researcher should visualize what happens next. That is his contribution. And he has said this in the Bombay Legislative Assembly before India becoming independent.
1946.
Before your State Reorganization Act was enacted. How he developed this? Because he had a research inclination. He had a research inclination. So research inclination should be like a wealth of a scholar. You should live with this wealth. Then only your intellectualism will be recognized. And I want all of you to become the resource to make the social science to survive.
Yes.
So with this background, I am just making you to open your mind. You have already opened your eyes, but I want to make your mind to become open. This is something which is very interesting for me.
Next.
Next. Wait. Come back. Fine. Go to the first one. Movement. Adala.
Down, master.
Yeah. Fine. Stop it. It's a calendar.
Sir, small submission.
Yeah, please.
Not only Kannadigas, non-Kannadic is also there.
Fine.
So
I will be English only. Okay.
So that
Yes. Huh? No one is writing the thesis in Kannada?
you are writing in Kannada?
Yes, sir.
ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಭಿಮಾನದಿಂದ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್.
The beauty of it is a Tamilian.
Wonderful. Baba
That
said
we should
Marathi
appreciate that. He learned Kannada and now he is trying to be an expert in not only in subject and also in language.
Wonderful. Then he is Kannada Rajinikanth.
Kannada Rajinikanth.
Rajinikanth has become Tamil Rajinikanth. He will become Kannada Rajinikanth. Yes. So, the methodology which Baba Sahib has adopted, he never stick to stereotype methodology. Because a guide said, you go on honestly so that you can evolve your own method. We have classified his writings into different categories: social writings, political writings, religious writings, cultural writings. All through his writings we can see the methods which Baba Sahib adopted. He didn't believe in monotones. When he was talking about ancient Indian commerce, he had clarity in the mind. That what should I say through this? Because you prepare the synopsis, there you create the objectives, hypothesis, and this too you have to substantiate with the methodology that you follow. And you are given a stereotype depending upon the result that you have selected. Because that is the tradition that you have been following. You should break that tradition. I don't believe in tradition. Because as time changes, today we are all living in the space where everything is important for us. A social scientist should not say that for me bioscience is not useful. No, he can't. A Gram Panchayat member should not say that I don't know the biofuel. So the encroachment of man is in such a way that he is landing even in the moon. So all the area belongs to human being. He lives in the mountains. Earlier you used to say he lives in the heaven or hell. But today, everything belongs to you. You are the creator. I would say a social scientist is the creator. Baba Sahib has created this. He says, cultivation of mind is the essence of human existence. Who has said this? This should be the objective of your research. Cultivation of mind is the essence of human existence. Why he says? You mean to say that Baba Sahib knew very well that the mind of Indians are not right? Because they have been made to follow traditions, they have been made to live the stereotyped life. Why he says that? When he is saying that he has a different method, I'll show you that next. Well, give me. Whenever we talk about methodology, what we think? We should not bypass the methodology. If we bypass the methodology, we are bypassing the physician. A surgeon will never bypass the physician. You got my point? Huh? But a wise surgeon will bypass everything. My uncle was a reputed surgeon. He was the greatest pediatrician. A great admirer of Baba Sahib. He used to have his own method in operating, depending upon the strength of the human body. The rural folk people, they are very strong. You can't equate them with the urbanized. So therefore, when we say methodology, you should be in a position to assess whether this methodology completely fits into my domain. If not, you have every liberty to get a different method. But your supervisor says, no, you should not, otherwise the examiner will raise an objection. Even Baba Sahib's thesis, the objections were raised by his examiner. But not to the methodology, not to the findings, but to the words that he used. See, when I was doing my research, I started to use the words in such a way. But my guide said, no, Somashekhar, you should not use this. Still I have that manuscript with me. Even if you want to say stupid to someone, put it in a subtle way.
Polished manner.
Put it in a subtle way. Because I was saying like you. Still I am young and energetic. We don't want to compromise because the writings and speeches of Baba Sahib itself gives us source of strength. That is the reason why I say you people read. Read his writings. See the sentence that he constructs. See the words that he uses. See the hypothesis that he draws. When he wrote Partition of India, see the hypothesis that he. Can anyone challenge that hypothesis? He has a strong ground. And that ground is through history. When I asked why Buddha left the palace, what is your answer, madam? Where are you? Why Buddha left the palace?
Palace, his kingdom.
Or if you want to simplify, I would say, why Buddha left the work? Huh?
In search of peace.
In search of peace. Why inside the home he was not having peace? She says Buddha went in search of peace. That is your answer. Who gave this answer? Huh? Right, you are saying. Someone has said this, so you are accepting it. But why you want to accept that? No, sir, I don't have any interest. Whatever he says, I will accept. Why should I break my head? Research mind should be an investigative mind. You are all police officers. You should say that as I am a police officer to investigate the research problem that I have taken. When Baba Sahib wrote The Origin of Untouchability, he put forth two important theories to prove why this exists. He is such a great, towering personality in the research field. No one can beat him. Can anyone give the different answer? Why Buddha left home?
He saw three things. He was always put in the palace, but once he came out and he saw three things: a dead man, old person, and poverty.
This is the theory you put up. And you follow it.
This is what I. For enlightenment. Enlightenment.
She also said for peace.
You want to know the ultimate end of that.
You are all from which background, please?
Various.
Political science, economics, library science.
Now, Miss Library they don't bother about Buddha.
Economics.
So sometimes we keep on introspect and we really get the answer for certain things.
Why you want to break the head? Forget about it and we go by the general opinion.
So I couldn't get it.
Why you want to break the head? We'll go by the general opinion as she said and he said.
Actually, I work in the area of spirituality and economics. So
Wonderful,
I very
wonderful,
seriously
very
border on
interesting, very
Buddha.
good. Yeah.
Mahabodhi Society is there in Bangalore, where
Yeah.
I am visitor at times. So Buddhist
You know
economics,
Anand
Buddhist
Bhattaji?
things. Huh?
You know Anand Bhattaji?
He's called, yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
Recently, this thing has will happen. He
Yes.
was the one who built that place.
Yes.
Buddha Charika is actually the name. Mind cankers is
Yeah.
very powerful. Yes. So spiritual economics, balancing materialism, spiritualism. I'm trying to venture, but
You should also read Arvind Ghosh.
I'm a visitor of
You should visit Pondicherry also.
Halsur Lake.
Why an extremist become a spiritualist? See, you'll be getting the research when you start speaking. But you speak with sense. And sense will be only when you have knowledge, truth. Baba Sahib started research to know the fact why Buddha left the palace. We all believe that he saw some disease, he saw death.
Man was dead body.
But no one asked the people who wrote this theory that during his stay in the palace for 29 years, did anybody get aged, got sick, there is no death? So this question he raises and he finds a fact that Buddha left the palace in search of a solution to the water dispute, river Rohini water dispute between his clan and the neighboring clan. This was his research. And no teacher will say this because you are not allowed to go to the readings of Baba Sahib. This was the research done by Baba Sahib. He proves it. And even today, Kaveri water dispute is not solved. I have a dispute with him with sharing of Tungabhadra water. I have a dispute with him sharing of Kaveri water. I have a dispute with Maharashtra in the water dispute. Why? Still it's multiplying. Buddha said you should develop rationality in settling the disputes. Baba Sahib's methodology, it identifies the general, the complex, the simple. I hope you are not following. I am not boring you.
Very interesting, sir.
Super, this is even I am also surprised to hear. It is because whatever answers you have received, I am very. I mean, it is a very wonderful answer you have given. Of course, I do read Ambedkar. I am an Ambedkarite. I am sorry to say proclaim that, but it is a very shocking thing that the true fact is this.
Yes, we should go in.
Yes, because he must have questioned it.
Yes.
Because in his palace, people get old age,
Yes.
people must have died, people must have been a lot of things. But why, when he came out and it happens in my house also, it happens. Whether I come out or not, it happens in my house also. Perhaps it would have also happened in his palace also. See how the history has been manured, suiting to the writer. You see?
And
Have you
Baba
noticed
Sahib says, Indian history is not a history. History is not a.
No, it is.
See the statement that he is making. Indian history is not at all a history. Can historian will agree with this?
So it is an evolution. Indian history is not history, it is evolving history. Evolution is there.
It's an evolution of what?
So thoughts, traditions, customs, process, spirituality, everything is evolving.
Everything is involved, but it is excluded. Some of the sections of the society have been excluded.
Some part of
Certainly, sir.
Yeah.
Certainly.
some what
When
you-
you exclude and say that is a history, that is not a history. And Baba Sahib said, if you want to become a historian, you should have three important characters. You should be honest. And we had monarchy, wherein the court poets should praise the king. So, with the praise, can you expect that there is a substance? There will be a true fact. So, the first character is you should be honest. The second is independent. The third is you should be above selfish. I want these three characters to be the watchwords of the research scholars. A researcher should be independent. A researcher should be honest. A researcher should be selfless. If you have this character, then your thesis will become a sound thesis. It will be not kept in the library as a self. It will be given to the society, like Baba Sahib. So these characters you should imbibe. From now onwards you start, yes, you are honest, you are independent. You are not here to get degree for selfish. And your degree should help the society, should help the nation, it should help the mankind. all his writings stands in that way. Let me go back to this insight study, interpretive insight study in research. See, this is very important. That's the reason why I have taken caste in India in relation of caste. Why he choose that? He could have chosen different thing. He is an economist. When he took up his higher education, his research work was in economics. But why he opted caste? Can anyone define what is caste? You all belong to different caste, no? Or anyone is there that, no sir, I don't belong to any caste. You all belong to different caste. Then what is that caste? I am not asking the name of the caste. I am asking you to define the caste. What is the definition of the caste? Yeah, madam, please.
So it's a socio-economic group of community who does the same work.
What?
Whose profession is same.
Use mic.
You introduce yourself, madam. And your background.
So I'm Aishwarya Lakshmi, Department of Economics, Karnataka University, Karnataka. So caste is a name or the indication of the community who have a same profession.
So caste is linked with the profession.
He says that the superimposition of endogamy on exogamy means the creation of caste.
Who?
Dr. Ambedkar.
Yes. What is his definition? He has given a very beautiful definition of caste. To give that, as a sociologist, as an ethologist, as an anthropologist,
Yes, sir.
as an economist, and as a reformer, it gives the definition. It's an artificial chopping up of the population. It's an artificial chopping up of the population. That is caste. Do you agree with this or not? For this, you go to M. Rai, Men's Universal, you go to Atton, you go to Nesfield. Baba Sahib went through all this and he comes to the conclusion. Though it's like an artificial chopping of population for Baba Sahib, but how harmful is this institution that he brings in his annihilation of caste. And the aim of writing of annihilation of caste is to expose the evils of the caste system. And this evil, if it continues, even the political liberty will not serve. And he says, in India, democracy is a top class industry. In India, democracy is a top class industry. Stands relevant even today. We are the largest democratic nation in the world. We proudly say that we are the mother of democracy. How our mother is being burnt, how our mother is being raped, how our mother is being harassed. That we don't think, that we don't say. Because of this, he says, yes, in India, democracy is a top class industry. See the inclination that he has developed. To have the expansion, we should be interdisciplinary in nature. So this is my economics, so I don't want to go into the sociology of it. So this is my sociology, so I don't want to go to the politics of it. First, the barricade has to be removed. If you remove the barricade, you will be having free movement. Why the police create barricade? To curtail the free movement. Research should be a free movement until you arrive at your conclusion. You can have some restrictions, but to arrive at your conclusion, you should not have any barriers. You should freely move around to see, to assess, and to verify. Therefore, it does this through descriptive insight, research acting as an investigator. And anyone has read the Annihilation of Caste? Is this caste, annihilation of caste, has something to do with the economics? What is that?
Division of labor.
Wonderful. What's your name, gentlemen?
Nagesh.
You are from
Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Bangalore city. Division of labor. Have you read Buddha or Karl Marx? Buddha or Karl Marx written by Baba Sahib. You should read. You take from me. If you start reading Baba Sahib, you will become a great researcher. You will become a great intellectual. Start reading Baba Sahib. Because the way that he has integrated all the disciplines. When he wrote the riddles of Rama and Krishna, prerequisite of Hinduism, when he wrote the rise and fall of Hindu women, his vast writings all speaks about the methodology that he adopted. He never confined to particular methodology. He used to have descriptive, historical, statistical, according to the objective that he has enshrined. He made use of the methods that were available as a supervisor advised him. Therefore, we say his research is a constructive research. And I want every research to be constructive research, not to the mere production of the degrees. So to make a constructive research, what you should have? How to make a constructive research? Madam, what's your research problem?
So my research problem is why the merchandise trade is that much of backward.
Can you have a constructive research regarding your research area based on this?
So I'm not getting the idea of what is the constructive.
You just
what is-
have a look on that. All research should be constructive. I did research on Baba Sahib on liberalism. And liberalism is a constructive force, not only a political force, it's an economic force. We talk about free trade. We talk about the role of the state. We talk about the rights, absolute rights or minimum rights. A constructive research is to aim to give a novel solution. So your research should end by giving solutions, not suggestions. But we are free to give suggestions. Indians are known to give suggestions. Indians are known to give reasons for why not being done. If you ask a student, problem, why you are not attending the class, he will give the reasons which you will blindly accept. But he never follows that. We are known to that. Therefore, constructive research is not so easy for us. Because we don't dedicate. We don't want to dedicate. We want to get, today, getting research degrees has become so easy. When Baba Sahib started research, the today's techniques, if he could have visualized that, he could have given still more constructive works for us. With more constraints, he used to fight against Britishers, he used to fight against caste abuse, he used to enlighten about to his own people, he used to look after his own family. With all this reading, never abstained. He never missed the reading and writing. When doctor told to him, if you read more, you lose your eyesight.
Yes.
That is true. What was the reply of Baba Sahib? If I lose my eyesight, I don't want to live. I'll take a gun and I'll shoot myself. That is the passion that Baba Sahib. That is the passion. So if you have a passion, you become constructive. So develop passion on your research area so that you will be. See, why you wrote Shudras? Why Baba Sahib took about to write Shudras? Who were Shudras? Why he wrote? What?
Neglected section of the society which could have contributed to the issue, which was being neglected since very past.
That's also I agree. But apart from that,
Exploitation.
wonderful. Who expects more in the village level? Shudras. Because they doesn't know their history. Through that, Baba Sahib is trying to make a history through research that Shudras
Are the most exploited community in the society.
who were Shudras? Why you become Shudras? When you wrote the untouchable, who were they? Why they become untouchable? These are all based on the ethnographical study, the sociological study, the demographical study, statistical study. And today we talk about DNA. Baba Sahib, when he speaks about the origin of theories, why the untouchables are treated like that? What is the root cause for this? Beef eating and racial theory. These two theories he put forth. A researcher should put forth his own theory. When she is talking about the price, she should come out with her own theory. And you are allowed to come. You have all the criteria to evolve your own theory. Because you will be reading and knowing and analyzing the different theories with regard to price control. So that you can evolve your own. So this is the same which Baba Sahib has done. He looks into the corner, why this has happened? Why the Shudras are like this? Why they have this character? Why their attitude is like this? Why the behavior is like this? So psychological study. I hope you are all getting things to I believe that you should be well equipped. You are in the battlefield of a research, and I want you to conquer, not to lose the battle.
Can you state what the DNA theory come out with the results?
Yeah?
So the DNA theory come out with what kind of result?
Yes.
So what result it does it give?
I will tell you in the next. Yes. This is the entry point that I am focusing. I will give the details how it worked. Since you have raised the question, I will stick to who were Shudras, why they become untouchables, who were the untouchables, and why they become the untouchables. When was the practice of untouchability started in India?
During Gupta period.
Yes, but it just says, the books are like that. We say during Gupta period, Chandalas were not allowed to walk in the morning. They are allowed to walk only in the noon, so that their shadow would reflect on the ground. So no pollution should be done. So Gupta age means. But the same Gupta age, we say it's a golden age. This is the golden age? You're talking about DNA. I'm talking about the golden age of Gupta, at the same time the Chandalas. How this contradiction fits in? For this, Baba Sahib starts doing research. When could have been the practice of untouchability started in India? What, madam? You want to drink water? When? Can anyone have at least some answers?
So in Vedic Kal, that untouchability has been started.
Yalama?
Uttar Vedic Kal, sir.
ಉತ್ತರ ವೇದ
Post.
ವೇದಗಳ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲೇ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತನ
Veda,
Post.
all are involved in Veda, sir, but in Uttar
Yes,
Vedic
Rigvedana, 10th mandala. Rigveda's 10th mandala, Baba Sahib quite often quotes. He quotes on that. Adela Purusha Sukta. What is that Purusha Sukta? If we don't believe, we laugh at that. If you say to a kid that Purusha Sukta is like that, you would say that you have gone mad. He quotes Rigveda. He takes Manu also. His research in such a way that he never missed the authoritative works when he is talking about the area which the authoritative works have to be taken care of. Why the practice of untouchability started? There should be a reason why a particular man should be treated like that. What is that reason? So we don't want to text on it. It's already there. Why should we want to pray? Let it die.
What I
Yeah.
heard, according to my knowledge, what I have heard, in Rigveda there were 4 varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras. And Brahmana were doing the pujas, thing like that. And they are
Still they are doing puja.
Kshatriyas were used to protect the state. And the Vaishnavas,
But now everyone is allowed to protect the state.
Vaishyas are doing commercial traders. And Shudras used to support all
But there is
these
no mention
varnas.
of the Shudras.
Shudras were helping all these
Untouchables
people.
are not Shudras.
No, sir.
Don't
They
get
are
confused.
They are not untouchables in Rigveda. That Shudras were the people who used to help all these 3 Varna people, sir. But what has happened in Uttar Vedika, they all Varnas has become the castes like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras. So that Shudras were used to support all this, sir. So that's why they were treated as a least in the society.
Yes. Where is untouchable?
then the untouchability has been started.
How?
Root cause of untouchability, sir, is asking.
Baba Sahib never puts it to a vague statement. Whatever he says, he proves. A researcher should have that courage. Whatever you say, you should prove. You should have that courage and conviction to say it. It takes two important theories. Number one, contempt of Buddhist and befitting theory. You know the ancient history of this nation? Contempt of Buddhist, befitting theory. This theory he put forth. You know what is the befitting theory? Who is to eat beef? No, sir, it is not our food culture, so we don't want to break it. There is a connection between the befitting theory and the untouchability. There is a connection between the contempt of Buddhist and the untouchability. He proves that and he arrives at the conclusion and says somewhere around 400 AD the practice of untouchability may have been started. He writes that. Somewhere around 400 AD, the practice of untouchability has started. He justifies that. Why it started. Why there was a contempt of Buddhist. Why the Brahminical force and the Buddhist force? Why the racial theory and occupational theory? And then why the befitting theory came in that way? Baba Sahib gives it in the form of theoretical construction, he says. This is my theory. And I have all the facts in that theory. Therefore, I am making this. Likewise, when he wrote Hoover Sutras also. And he has educated this group of sutras. Baba Sahib says, my first teacher is Buddha, second is Kabir, and the third is Mahatma Jyotirao. He acknowledges his teachers. When he wrote the problem of rupee, he dedicated that problem of the rupee to his father. Why? Even today we have not solved the problem of our rupee. Baba Sahib has given the caution for us. And I want my economic students to say why you have not accepted the conclusion of Baba Sahib on problem of the rupee. Gold standard, silver standard, paper currency, all that is fixed. Young commission, starting from young commission is fixed. You should read how he has done his research. It is readily available. It's online. And I want my economic students to read that. Make it a compulsory. And when you conduct a course, you see that at least a very important area which Baba Sahib has done his research, make the students to carry that. That will give them direction. That will take them forward. And my appeal is, when you are here, read his problem of the day. One should read his problem. And you have a discussion on that. You invite your professor. Sir, today I have read and I want you to have a discussion on this. We'll all join together. We'll have a group discussion on this. Make it a part. You have a debate about that. I don't think so.
Tea has come.
You need a break? You need a break. Then I consider that my talk is not so conducive to you. When you say that you need a tea break,
It is interesting.
huh?
It is interesting.
Need some energy training.
No, it is interesting. See, you have taken us to some kind of a really.
That's my work.
Even I am also. I mean, it is a.
Okay, we'll break for a few minutes.
Yes, exactly 5 minutes. Exactly 5 minutes. Just 5.
Correspondence between two. It may be an individual.
You can come here also, share something. After all of this, we can have a.
The best correspondence method is between Gandhi and Ambedkar. What is the important debate between these two tall leaders?
No,
Una.
that is right.
It's a result of political issue. Political is an issue.
Separate elections.
When Baba Sahib wrote what Congress and Gandhi have done to the untouchables, Mr. Gandhi and the emancipation of the untouchables. These are the two important writings, political writings on Gandhi. Why Baba Sahib? To write this, he adopts the correspondence method. Not completely, but the correspondence between the two, whether in the form of dialogue or in the form of writings. And this, even today, in Indian political system, we say that the political debate between Gandhi and Ambedkar. And Baba Sahib says Gandhi is a social Tory but political radical. Gandhi is a social Tory but political radical. What is this? So I want the research scholars should use such statements. Gandhi is a social Tory but political radical. Baba Sahib says. And Gandhi says one cannot change the religion according to his own whims and flaps. Religion is not like a clock. See the debate between these two. And Baba Sahib makes it very clear what Gandhi is doing to the untouchables, what his political party is doing to the untouchables. He narrates everything. He doesn't hide anything. The researcher should not hide any facts. When Baba Sahib is calling Gandhi as a social Tory, that means to say that Gandhi was a conservative when the social question arrives. But when political question comes, he is a radical. But Baba Sahib's position was, he is radical in both social and political. But But Gandhi was only radical in thought. So correspondence between the two. For you, correspondence between the farmers and the government, the consumer and the producer, then the market forces. You should have the correspondence and you should evolve your own method in the name of collecting the correspondence between. And when Baba Sahib was the member of a Viceroy's Executive Council, he was in charge of labor. If you read his contribution as a labor member from 1942 to 46, he has placed on record the tripartite meetings. You can't alone sit and say what you say is final. No. You should have representation from the labor. You should have representation from the management. You should have representation from the government. And it is called tripartite meeting. And whatever the agreement that you come in the meeting, and that agreement is called as tripartite agreement, in which holds good. You can't deny it. So correspondence is very important. When you go to the field, you have to correspond. You carry your questionnaire, schedules, and now it has become so fashion that you carry your recording system. You produce verbatim. You don't have anything new with you. The first thing that you have to learn is read and write. Writing skill is very, very important. You should play with the words that you use in your research. When you use the words, that speaks about the strength of your reading and writing. We had from economics Professor G.T. Madhusudhan from economics department. He was the only person which I come across who used to lecture without repeating the words. That is the greatness in economics. So start repeating the words. As a student, you will silently observe how many repetitions this man has. And with that words you name it. So therefore, you should be very careful in using the words. When I started my research, my guide said, you have to buy a dictionary which is anonymous and synonymous. Anonymous, you have to read that. You carry the words there. You should have. And today, the best thing is your guidelines. It only types. You speak, you types. Take your guide, and some of the guide will never see their sign. And some of the examiners are more magnanimous. They will write, yes, recommended for the award. Baba Sahib's any of the writings. When there is a revolution, there will be a counter revolution. That is the history of it. He writes revolution and counter revolution. Even today it happens. When we follow Baba Sahib, there will be another counter. We don't want to accept. We want to impose. Accepting should be the watchword, not imposing. You can't impose. And research will not be imposed. And you should make your research accepted by the not only degree granting institute, but also the stakeholders. And all your research have stakeholders. And Baba Sahib's writings, the stakeholders is all the human beings. He never wrote for a particular caste or particular group. When he is talking about a particular group, you want to say you have to reform. And this is the way for you to. And what is the way he showed? Education, agitation, argumentation. So research is a education. Through facts you are educating the society. So when the dialogue between Gandhi and Ambedkar and Baba Sahib saved Gandhi, Baba Sahib reformed Gandhi. This is the strength of Baba Sahib's writings. When Pura Pact was accorded, sacrificing the separated electorate. What is that separated electorate? What is separated electorate?
Separate.
Do you have separate electorate today?
Huh? No, separate constituencies for the. Separate constituencies for the.
Separate constituencies for the list. That is separate. You have separate constituencies for the list today. Without constituencies, separate.
But only.
Only
like in
particular community people should vote for that particular.
They should be elected by the Dalits only.
You are not giving me the answer which has the meaning of a separate electorate. Why Baba Sahib fought for separate electorate? What was his claim? What was his claim? Why do you need separate treatment? Why do you need separate treatment? Your research component has a separate treatment. One. Curing the disease. Yes, he is making an attempt. Yes, sir. Through that, the disease has to be cured.
They were suppressed, no sir, not to make them politically aware and also to get them into the administrative level. We wanted them to include in all the states.
So, creating the opportunities for them.
Yes.
Creating the opportunities for them. That why using the name of separate electorate?
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ ಪರಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಸಮುದಾಯದ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪರಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಸಮುದಾಯದ ಜನರಿಂದ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹಿತಾಸಕ್ತಿಗೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು.
ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಥಿಯರಿ ಇದೆ. When Baba Sahib was talking about separate electorate, he was talking about the representative theory in the truest sense, not the nominal representation. That is the focal point. The focal point is the true representation. Don't talk between yourself. If you want to say something, say boldly. In the beginning of my lecture only I told that I am a teacher of political science. I give liberty to each of my students. I will never come in the way of their liberty. I want everyone to respond. What is the history of separate electorate of this nation? When we talk about representation, we should know India was the first country to give voting rights on the basis of equality in the first general election itself. America gave by amending the 19th amendment to the Constitution during 1920s. We were proud to say that. And that credit should go to whom? gave the political rights to you? Constitution, we say. But who was responsible? What is the labor behind this? This is the research. The labor behind granting the political equality. From where it started? How it started? What was Baba Sahib's first public appearance? When did he appear? When was that and what for it?
Tank.
Huh?
Mahat tank. No.
That was in 1925 to
Is
27.
constituted assembly.
No, Constituent Assembly.
Public appearance when?
When was that?
Mahad.
Always.
No,
So
the
what
notification.
South Borough Committee. What is that committee? No history students here.
No, sir.
So you want to monopolize economics?
Nobody has.
Without economic history, your economics will be.
We have a proverb, history of economic. Without history, economics has no roots. Without
There will be no
economics,
Yes, sir.
That I
history has no
studied in
fruits.
when I was doing my PUC.
This was a quote which caught my attention
Yes.
for the course.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would have.
Without the root of history, the fruits of economics is not. You can't see the fruits. The root is history. So without root, we are talking about the fruits. Hybridization. We don't want roots. We don't want strong roots. We want the roots which can give the fruits.
Short term.
Seasonal fruits. The history of separate territories,
So the commission.
ornamental farms. Muslims got for the first time through ornamental farms, separate territory in 1906. And Baba Sahib, he appeared before South Borough Committee in 1918, 1718. That was his first appearance. Why he appeared? What is that South Borough Committee? It came to look into the issue of franchise. Not your IPL franchise, your political franchise. We had a time when negroes were auctioned, but today we have players being auctioned. We should start doing research why it is that. What is the market value? How the market value is being assessed. Therefore, in the World Cup, 300 and odd, because we have trained them 2020. So research is like 22. Huh? So from South Borough Committee to Constituent Assembly, the road towards franchise, even at the round table conferences, Baba Sahib made very clear, if you keep 1/6 of the nations away from the political activities, which is equivalent to the 10 times of your population, is talking to Britishers. You can't call it as how we got this? Now courageous he was to say in front of the British authorities. He was not having support from his people because he is from the depressed class. He was not a leader in the national movement. Your research should focus on such issues. So correspondence between Gandhi and Ambedkar, between when the round table conferences were held from 1930, 31, 32. In what committees Baba Sahib played his role? It's a Herculean task that man performed to create a strong India. He had given the nation a right direction for us to perform. So this is how we sum up the mixed research Baba Sahib followed, the logical method that he followed. When you want to say something, he said with logic. He proved his statement. When he says Gandhi was a social Tory, he proved that Gandhi was a social Tory. So you should say in your research that what you want to say, for that you have to prove it. Personal participation method, as Baba Sahib used to when he appeared before South Borough Committee, Lothian Committee, Buddhiman Committee, Simon Commission, Roundtable Conferences, then Labour member, then Constituent Assembly, then floating his own political parties, organizing his own organization, opening education institutions. These are all his personal participation method. And discrimination method. Why this discrimination? Why you have this? When yesterday I was addressing a couple of officers at the Administrative Training Institute, I usually go as a resource person there. When he was referring Mahad, it's an issue of water. And Gandhi was talking about salt satyagraha, Dandi March. Much ahead of Gandhi's Dandi March, Baba Sahib talked about Mahad Satyagraha. So for social scientists, both water and salt are important because water signifies what? Social freedom. Salt signifies political freedom. In this way you have to build the theory. Why the discrimination exists? Constitution prohibits discrimination in any forms. Is India free from discrimination? Discrimination in the village, discrimination in the home, discrimination in the institution, discrimination in the society, discrimination in the government. Wherever you go, you can see the discrimination. Even if you take your body to the burial ground, there also there is a discrimination. This is the research that we have. For burial ground also, we are saying that this body should not enter this area. But we say that India is a developed country, superpower country. What is this? And your research should give solution to this. Madam was talking about DNA. DNA says that who are the original inhabitants. And everyone claims that we are the original inhabitants. Today biologically, so that is the reason why when I come to the next session about the recent trends, that will be more concluding in nature. Discrimination even today tends to occupy its position. Constitution under Article 17 says discrimination, practice of untouchability is prohibited. Who drafted this article? Political science. Who drafted Article 17? Article 17, what does it say?
Discrimination based on
Who drafted this? Huh? We don't want to break our head, let anyone draft. It continues. When K. Munshi came with this draft before Baba Sahib, K. Munshi was very much eager to show his draft. Do you know the reply given by Baba Sahib? Munshi Sahib, do you mean to say that I am happy about this draft? No. Then Munshi asked why. The reply given by Baba Sahib was, only when there is a true union of heart and soul, I accept this. If you want to eradicate the discrimination, there should be a true union of heart and soul. That is fraternity. Your research should speak about the strength of fraternity. And I don't think the social science research are talking about fraternity. They speak only about watertight compartments. Economics speaks about price control. It completely forgets about the plight of the farmers. Why the farmer suicides? What is the role of the state government? What is the role of the central government? What is the lifestyle of the rural folk? It for only price in the market. You know the law of the price, market law. Is today market law is being applied? Who fixed the price? It is not the cultivator. Yes.
Middleman.
And silently the government is watching and keeping quiet. And your research will not speak about the middleman.
True. It is true.
Then what is the use of that?
Inam portal is there, sir.
Yeah. Yes, every portal you see, we have the system is very good. We have created a very beautiful, meaningful system. But we are not prepared
To accept.
a beautiful person. We have prepared a beautiful woman or a man with ugly mind who can operate. And I will take this to when Baba Sahib made very clear when the press asked him which constitution is the best. He was an American correspondent. And Baba Sahib says, if I say American constitution, you feel happy? And he says, if a bad constitution is worked by good people, that becomes a good constitution. If a good constitution is worked by bad people, that becomes a bad constitution. And our research will not say this. We say only price because of these factors, following of the factors. Further to come with theory. We had a very great leader, farm leader, Puttanaya. He was a graduate, that's all. But he was a great economist. You read his debate in the assembly. You have to read. But you are also working on. Yes. So this is the mistake that we make. No sir, this is not my sir, this is yours, you take my system. Research belongs to everyone. And I say that I did research on Ambedkar, that's not my own area. It belongs to all. I am the owner of that. Everyone, when you are a social scientist, the whole society is yours. When the whole society is yours, it means to say your economic activities, your cultural activities, crime, all belongs to you. So true representation means you should have a representation who protects the interest of the people. So Baba Sahib says, The social force are more stronger than the political force. Can you give the best example today about the decision of the government?
Farmers protest
For what?
regarding the farmers laws, 3 laws.
That the government has taken back.
Yeah.
I'm talking
She
about
says
today.
that social force you asked.
Yeah, I'm talking about today. I'm talking about today. Freebies you are enjoying.
Implementation of anything.
Huh?
Implementation of
No one is opposing.
anything, then take it back and adopt another.
State education policy. In place of yet, they are taken yes. We don't want no, we want yes. And what is the UGC chairman saying?
He was there in Mysuru day before yesterday.
Yes. He said that you have to implement. My question is, you have a caste census and the chief minister is saying that
You
he
release
will release. And the deputy chief minister is saying that. Then which is the social force? Which is the political force? You are social centered, you should know this. In Bihar, what happened? The caste census was released. What were the repercussions? What were the stand of the different political parties? You can't say that, no sir, I am economic, so why should I bother? When you say the caste census, who were the agrarian people involved in these groups? When was the last census caste was held? During the days of Baba Sahib, he brings it to the 1931 caste census. After that, no caste census. Is there should be a caste census?
Yes.
How many of you want a caste census and how many of you doesn't want caste census? I want for both the answers because we are all research scholars. You have a responsibility to speak, to defend or to refuse.
Yeah, the general census, what is the meaning of the caste census? The caste, how many would come into that?
When you have a reality of the caste-ridden society, your society is a caste-ridden society.
True.
And you have for each and everything caste becoming the primary stage. As I said, you want to bury a body, the caste factor comes into the picture.
It's a general census.
Yeah.
It's not-
The purpose of having caste census is for what? To make inclusiveness more stronger. To make inclusiveness more stronger. And you have to prove that without caste census, inclusiveness can be done. Through general, how is it possible?
Sir, in general, census.
General means all, there is no question of caste.
No, sir, but in that, the different categories of caste are included. So
That's why, how the different categories are being, see, the caste census is a data wherein it says, yes, for political position, this were the caste which are enjoying. For education, this were the caste which are enjoying. For employment, this were the caste which are enjoying. The facts should be
Brought up.
unearthed. You can't hide the facts. The purpose of caste census, see, there are two important arguments here. Census is not based on caste. Though there is in the enumeration, there is a column. But in the caste census, you go to collect the minute data. How many of your family members are educated? How many are employed? If employed are in government sector or in private. What is their daily earning? What is the standard of living? Do we have a phone? Do we have a car or a two-wheeler? Because it's a sociological and economical and political study. Because how many of you are in politics? From panchayati to parliament. The data is available there. How many of you are working in the higher education field or in the primary education field? So you should welcome that because it gives the fact, it plays on record. You can challenge it. You have every right to question it in the court of law. Because we are living in a democratic nation. Everyone has the right to protect his own rights. Article 32 is so powerful. It has given 5 rights. We have to analyze the factors influencing, factors which is coming in the way of, because it will be given through statistical method.
So, at a time when we are speaking of casteless society, when we do that is, aren't we trying to make caste more into getting more deeper roots into the society? Because we should be thinking of a casteless society and we should not be asking all these things like caste and religion, caste supply in the education policy, qualification, etc. all the
Yeah.
components, etc.
Yes.
But then if we are doing caste-based everything, then what we are doing will be of deep-rooting the caste system itself. Then
The answer lies with your own contradiction to the statement. You are saying that you want to establish casteless society.
yes.
And my question is, have we achieved success in this? No. Caste is getting more rejected. It is getting aggravated. It's becoming
No, simple thing I wanted to add to you question answer. Have you have children? Have you admitted a school? Will the school people ask which caste in the certificate? Huh?
Yes.
Then are we having casteless society or caste society?
We have caste society.
It is caste-based.
No. You are saying government system is trying to bring casteless society. That is your statement.
In order to.
No, 1 minute. Okay, please.
In order to go towards casteless society.
Casteless society.
Towards casteless
Okay,
society.
that's it. Accepted that norm. Normative. Okay. When you want to have a casteless society, does it require to have a to register our caste in our children's?
That's what I'm saying. There should not be a problem of caste.
No. You are asked. See, you have the answer there itself. You are saying that you should not. Then why it is so? Why that particular column is indicated in the transfer certificate?
That's what I'm saying.
No. You don't say to me. It is the government which has to decide. It is the government which has to decide. So when government himself is intent to do that, how can you create a casteless society?
That's what I'm saying. The government
No,
should
you are
not
not
pass it.
understand. That
Government
see,
should not pass it.
no. You are simply arguing. See, who is the government? Please answer it.
The question of caste, when it comes to the question of caste, we should treat that in a real sense. We are all for annihilation of caste. We have from Article 14 to 18 equality. We are all equals. But at the same time we have 15 class 4, 15 class 6, wherein to make casteless society a reality, we are giving reservation. Through that, we are making the people who are at the bottom of the society to come. This is program. The second, when we talk about census, caste census, that means to say you are showing that the successive governments progress in terms of development. In terms of development of what? In terms of development of individuals. Caste is a reality here. Because for each caste, the government has its own ministry. You have scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, we got OBCs, we have 10%. The purpose of caste census is to place on record who gets what, where he stands. Through that, the next step will be to annihilate by empowering the individual who is at the bottom of the society. We should not feel that when the caste census is done, I will be losing my status. No.
Is caste only the factor that does that same?
Absolutely. You are recognized by when you live in your village. How do you be? How are you going to recognize?
Sir, my question is the caste only determines the status of that individual?
Definitely.
So how can you say that caste is the only determinant of the individual
Yes.
development?
If you want to marry, which comes to a factor?
So you are
Be a
saying
practical
that
man.
we are putting
No,
reservations.
See, we are all. See,
That sir is asking
I'm
about
not.
the
I'm not.
caste intervention in the schools and education, sir.
Yes.
In that case,
Why is that
we are
common?
listing the caste because of the some like reservations we should give to the people on the basis of caste to make them to bring them to the mainstream.
Yeah.
That's what, sir.
Yes.
Sir, is the caste instead of caste? Can't we use another factor to?
What is that factor? Tell me.
We can use class system, sir.
No. In India, do you know the difference between the class and the caste?
Yes.
That is the reason I said you read Buddha or Karl Marx. In India, caste consciousness is stronger than class consciousness. Class consciousness is stronger only when you don't have caste consciousness. I'll give the example of national movement itself. I'm a pragmatic fellow because I read about it. I practice on it. During the national movement, what was the consciousness? The consciousness was to fight for freedom. Who were in the forefronts? Who were in the forefronts? Only educated. Who were educated? Who were educated? Yes. The masses followed them. When I say the masses, again I have which group?
Middle class individuals.
We should go by the reality which is in front of us. We can't close our eyes. And our purpose is to treat all, because Indian Constitution in the preamble itself makes it very clear, we the people, not we the caste. We the people. Baba Sahib, much before the Constitution making, much before the freedom of the nation, in the Bombay Legislative Council, he says, the sooner we realize that we are Indians first, Indians last, nothing else except India. So this sense, this spirit has to be built. Until then, the social reality speaks more. And this can be viewed in terms of revolution and counter-revolution. Whoever spoke on this, Vaswada spoke on this. Buddha spoke on this. But where we are standing? That to learn it. Why we are seeing honor killings? Why the social scientist is not carrying out the research on honor killings?
Sensitive issue.
Why your research should sensitize the society?
So it's a sensitive issue for the research.
No, you are a timid then. The researcher should not be a timid. Researcher should not be a timid. Never be a timid. You should feel proud to say, Baba Sahib says, no truth as truth and untruth as untruth. You should not say untruth as truth. You should boldly say truth as truth and untruth. This is the research.
So basically my question was, when we are speaking of annihilation of caste
Yes.
from the science,
Yeah.
when we are asking caste in the format that we are filling up in the education
Yes.
or in the employment process, should it be educate to the government to say that should not be asking about caste in the employment or in the education?
What is the alternative for that?
When we
How are you going to make it in more inclusive in nature?
What happens is when we incentivize caste system, it gets more deep-rooted, more aggravated. In that case, annihilation of caste becomes difficult.
Yes, sure.
And if that is the case, then we are going against Ambedkar's views.
Ambedkar himself gave reservation.
Yes.
For what?
To uplift the downtrodden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Likewise, the caste census is it's a social survey. You can't say that you cannot conduct social survey. Why? You have every right to conduct the social survey. You are basically from which place?
Yeah.
Dharwad. You are staying in cosmopolitan city.
Yes.
That's the reason. That's the problematic. Within the cosmopolitan city also, are the Dalits or the backward are allowed to get a rented house?
Yes.
No.
No, sir.
not.
Yes,
No.
sir.
You don't have the pay
Yes, sir. Yes.
because it operates in different way. If you go to the villages, where are they staying? They are staying in the separate groups.
The operation
That is-
keeps changing, depending.
That is a fact. When that is a fact, why the government should not take that fact to frame a policy? To frame a policy not to strengthen the caste, but to enrich the caste. So don't have an assumption that the caste census aggravates the caste. Keep a assumption that it shakes the institution of caste. That is the apprehension of the dominant caste. That's why they are opposing it. See the politics behind this. Why they only should rule? Why politics should not become more inclusive? You gauge in that sense. And that becomes practical. If you have a prejudiced mind, the prejudiced mind will always look yellow. You have to look into the whiteness of it. So that is the quality. That is the quality of a researcher. Social science research should have a quality with that. When Baba Sahib wrote the problem of the rupee, he wanted to make the quality of the economy to be strong. When he wrote Annihilation of Caste, he wanted to make the quality of society to be democratic. When he wrote what Congress and Gandhi have done to the untouchables, Mr. Gandhi and the emancipation of untouchables, he is making a clear stand that we should have a qualitative leader who can take everyone together. That is the quality of the research. Madam, what is your research? Yes.
Public expenditure on social sector in Indian state.
Public expenditure was the area which Baba Sahib worked lot on it. He is a champion on public finance. Public finance was dear to him. His teachers were all the stalwarts of public finance. Edwin Cannon, Salim Malik, they are all stalwarts of public finance. Public finance, Baba Sahib believed in accountability of the public finance. I want to put forth here his scheme of budget preparation when he was doing research on the evolution of provincial finance. The scheme that he developed was discussed in the central province of this nation much before independence. And the Reserve Bank of India was his idea. The monetary economics is the greatest champion of the monetary economics. Public finance. When we talk about public finance, the question of freebies is a debatable one. So your research should explain by following the analogical method, making the qualitative method more stronger. I don't want to go much on the statistical and typological theories because the words used by Baba Sahib, the theories, I say the phrases are very important in his writings.
So,
Yeah.
we were discussing about when did exactly the untouchability came into existence.
I told you, around 400 AD. That was said by Baba Sahib.
Yes,
Yes.
what were the movements, like maybe the history exactly in order to start doing that?
The history is the contempt of Buddhist and beef eating. We were eating the beef.
Who are outside the society, who are away from the society, main society, main village.
Why they are called excluded? Why they are made to carry the dead animals? Why they are made to eat the dead animals?
Yes.
Why they are made to live outside the village?
So basically they were hunters, sir?
No, they are not hunters. They were inhabitants.
In
They were inhabitants. That is the reason why Baba Sahib says they are the original inhabitants. My people are Nagas. Nagas are the original inhabitants. Therefore, in Nagpur, he embraced Buddhism, which is the abode of his people. See, that decision he takes through his research. And he says, I have taken this to make my people to lead a self-respected living. By embracing Buddhism, I am reviving the Bharatiya culture. Again, the research here is important. By embracing Buddhism, I am reviving the Bharatiya culture. Buddhism is not an alien religion. Buddhism is the land of this nation. When Pope II visited India, what did he say? I came to the land of Buddha. Baba Sahib, by embracing Buddhism, he revived the part of the Bharatiya culture. To say that if the practice of attendance continues, I don't want to stay in the country. Here, I am treated equally. I have a self-respect here, and I want my people to have it. Not only my people. I have a belief that one day this nation will become a Buddhist nation. My people will see that this nation will become a nation of Buddhism. Bharatiya culture in the sense, a nation of equality, a nation of liberty, a nation of freedom. This was a strong belief. Because he created a roadmap through his writings, through his struggles, through his organizations. And that is the strength. When I am speaking this, it is the strength taken by his writings and speeches. Friends, with this, I will stop on this video. And if you have any queries, you please ask. And I will take a couple of minutes to sum up the recent times. Now the floor is open for discussion. And I want everyone to interact. We are all here to make India a strong, democratic republic. And India belongs to all. We are here to break the monopoly. We are here to make India a more inclusive. Yes, my talks are to make India more inclusive. Yes. And to add that, I want your reactions. I want everyone to react. Otherwise, what happens? These are all his writings. You can take this through your professor. When will be this course ending?
29th, sir.
Before that, ask them to read Baba Sahib's any of his works, particularly more on from economics side. I want them to read the problem of the and his thesis, evolution of provision of finance.
So he has to see.
Yeah, please.
So this is not general topic, more of a
She is a
general
Mysuru University student.
From which department?
Say economics department.
You are from economics.
Yes. It's a more of a general aspect. In the whole of India, we follow the caste system. When Sir was talking about casteless society being present CM Siddaramaiah also had implemented one thing in order to increase inter-caste marriages. I didn't understand the strategy there. If it happens in the future also, but then what caste the future kids would write in their homes? So it will be again a contradictory question. So I didn't understand the exact strategy behind that, sir. If you know, please let me know.
Yes, this is not a new question for me. This question basically a strong question which particularly in Karnataka from 12th century itself. Baswana started intercaste marriages. Where did it land? Because we are living in a gender sensitive society today. But during the days of Baswana, during the days of Baba Sahib, Baba Sahib was for intercaste marriages. And he married a Brahmin as his second wife after the demise of his first wife. But your question is, if the intercaste marriage is done, for the children, which caste?
Yes.
And the court would say, it is
Father.
But take it from me, even the court is liberal.
Bias.
No, liberal. If a mother wish to
Retain.
retain the caste identity to her children, she has every right. The court would definitely appreciate because gender equality. Now the things are changing. Things are changing.
So why don't we start a trend like no caste like that at least?
You have every right to say, my own friends, my own relatives, they have written in the column of the caste, no caste.
Yes, we don't want to be.
No, you have every right to say. You have every right to say. Caste, column, no.
The Tuticorin collector is a JNA. He belongs to SC.
And
And he said, I'm
Even-
sorry, I don't have any caste. Toothpudi, when firing was taking place in 2000, no?
You have every right, if you marry an intercaste person, you have every right to say in the children column that no caste. No one would say you should not.
You should write. Nobody asks.
People went to court.
Yes, sir, someone has
People
said
went to
that.
court and court said, whatever the parents have written, you have to accept.
But again, it will become an administrative level if they are joining that the child to a school. Say, for example, there was no caste from.
If
the
you are making your child to join under a quota, then you need a shelter. If you want to develop your, when you say, want to say that I don't want caste, you should
Quota also.
You should also sacrifice the quota.
Yes.
You should make your child to compete